there's a book by a Harvard historian. She is now deceased. She wrote this, I want to say, in the 1970s. Barbara Tuchman, extremely well respected in her reputation and accounting for history, Western history, in the modern era. But her book, The Guns of August, really, traces the developments that took place in World War One, well after the fact. So she's trying to come in and document the narrative of, hey, what the heck just happened, right? Because in real time, as you're living through this, it feels volatile, right? It's just boom, boom, boom. You're reacting. It's difficult to predict. No one has their heads wired on to understand the story in real time as development drops. We get caught up in the escalatory ladder as, one thing happens, someone responds, maybe they over respond, boom, boom, boom. You get these same way in a stock chart, right? You see a exponential rally turning into like a blow off top. It's very similar to that, the way that history kind of unfolds, these events unfold in real time. So this quote from this Barbara Tuchman book, The Guns of August, really gets at the heart of the matter on how this situation developed and got out of hand, that we now know as World War One, which was just kind of known as one of the saddest, I think, kind of conflict. People died, how gruesome it was, just brutal in terms of industrial warfare, lives lost, populations disrupted, value destroyed, all of the above, just a complete catastrophe. Um, but anyway, Bismarck went on record. This is kind of the textbook prediction from a statesman predicting future events that would unfold, in the scope of these big systems beyond one individual's lifetimes. But he went on record sometime in the late 1800s and said this whole thing, the next kind of great violence would be over some damn foolish thing in the Balkans. He was exactly right, right? And this isn't one of those cases where it's like the broken clock is right twice a day. This person was extremely capable and competent at this uh, kind of geopolitical statesman type of role. So Archduke Franz Ferdinand, nobody in America would have heard of him or been aware, would have gotten 0% name recognition, I'm pretty sure. But assassinated in Sarajevo in June 1914. And then things escalated from there. By fall, I want to say, like you had the Germans at war with France, UK is involved. It gets ugly very quickly. So this just sets the backdrop for how things get out of hand. Why am I bringing this up? Well, it's still important to understand all the cast of characters in the nation states, their incentives, how they're interacting with each other. We're literally living through this today. So the European powers, United Kingdom, operating out of the city of London, France, I would call them a secondary power, but like they've consolidated France, Germany, leading the European Union out of Brussels. You've got Russia at play here. So you've got the European regional power versus Russia. And as we've kind of talked about over, each week in our weekly roundup, the other two regional powers, United States, and its kind of a span of control, which it considers to be the Western Hemisphere. And then you've got China, which considers its span of control the South Pacific, Southeast Asia, operating out of Beijing and Shanghai. So that's the backdrop here, how I understand this. And if we're going into something in the future, we've entered the unknown. These steps, like we keep escalating in terms of brinksmanship, but if you try to understand what's going on here, I'm going to just kind of attach a lattice to I guess our audience's understanding to really grasp the risk. I think that's the risk potential that's embedded in our current state of affairs. And I'm going to make an analogy here, and I don't do this lightly. I really want everybody to be cognizant of what is likely or is possible for the course of events to develop here in the very near term. Like these actions are happening today, and this can lead to an outcome that none of us may desire. So you can't avoid the car crash if you don't take preconditions and preventative measures today, is kind of how I would view this and why I'm even raising this point. But to copy paste that analogy, that text from Barbara Tuchman's The Guns of August, put it in today's modern situation. You've seen kind of prognosticators, involved in financial markets is kind of the best area for this, who know the potential for violence in the United States. And I think that's where I want to draw attention to. What we just saw with Charlie Kirk at Orem, Utah, in September 10th. This is the type of thing that can trigger the escalatory ladder and just unleash all of that stored potential energy that's been building up, through conflict, through existing institutional framework, just legacy, systems of rules and governance slowly being eroded and breaking away. This is the exact type of situation, if you look to history, where parties can accidentally climb that escalatory ladder and wind up in a situation that they had no intent to ultimately arrive at. So you can't avoid that outcome if you're not aware of it happening. So maybe it doesn't make sense to get into this too much further than that, but that's kind of the lay of the land, and I am framing things and my own mental construct, trying to make sense and place these events as they develop into geopolitical history as it develops. When you're trying to compare different markets, like it's a very similar analogy. Copy paste is what we're going through right now, like the dot-com bubble. No, it's examples of the thing. It's a fractal, but you look to prior experience to guide and shape your awareness of what may be going on today. So, point I want to get across, this is not Pollyanna, like this is to highlight and call to attention the risk that is embedded in current affairs. And then hopefully this will build awareness so that we can avoid, potentially catastrophic outcomes.